adjustments and counter-adjustments, Barangay Ginebra has regained the advantage and now they want complete control of this best of 7. But the San Miguel Beermen, loud and proud, looking to pull out all the stops and bounce back in this series, even as Barangay Ginebra finally has gotten a great game out of RJ Abarientos, who lifted them in that fourth quarter to take down SMB in Game 3. We all know how strong SMB is, especially in the Philippine Cup. We know how unstoppable CJ Perez could be, but the anticipation is now building as we go deeper and deeper into this series. And counts don't come easy, especially between two teams who only count success with championship rings. We welcome you now to Game 4 of this matchup here in the semifinals of your PBA 49th season Philippine Cup. We're coming to you live inside the Mall of Asia Arena. RJ Abarientos, can he pull off another massive performance? Will Jamie Malonzo have another double-digit scoring game as they're looking to build a 3-1 series advantage on the other side? Coming off the bench and top scoring, not really usual for San Miguel Beer, but pulled off by this guy Don Trollano. And now Junmar Fajardo, the health has been a big question. Is he okay now? Is he fit to dominate anew as we restart this matchup inside MOA? We thank you everyone for joining us inside the Mall of Asia Arena. Carlo Pamintuan and Eric Reyes on the call. We thank you for joining us on PBA Rush and Pilipinas Live Game 4. A 3-1 advantage is available for Barangay Ginebra, but you know that SMB will not give it to them easy.
Well, definitely we expect SMB to really come back today, but of course Barangay Ginebra would want that distinct advantage of getting at least a 3-1 advantage coming in to this series.
We'll take a look at the numbers that dictated the result of Game 3, and you will see key statistics in this matchup. You will see that the usual offense from the outside of the San Miguel Beermen was non-existent. Barangay Ginebra, a team that does not really take and make a lot of threes, they use that advantage to take down SMB in that third matchup. Starter scoring, massive advantage as well coming from Barangay Ginebra. Of course, you understand that Junmar and Trollano are coming off the bench, but 36 coming from big names in the starters just won't cut it if you're SMB.
Well, you know, for SMB, we all know that they're an inside-outside threat because of the presence of Junmar Fajardo. They only made 3 3-point shots. On the other hand, for Barangay Ginebra, if you allow them to make 26 assists, that's, they're very hard to defeat. Look at the fast break points. They got a lot of easy points to start the game out. They had 7 for Hinebra, and that turned things around confidence-wise. And that's the reason why a lot of those details, Carlo, will really play a major role on how the adjustments will be made for this game tonight.
There was a collective sigh of relief coming from the Barangay Ginebra faithful as they finally got a good game, a solid performance from RJ Abarientos. And now the question is, for RJ, consistency, can he do it again? Can he perform night in and night out for Barangay Ginebra this way? Because they need him to be on point, to be aggressive, and to be smoking hot from downtown.
Well, adjustments will definitely have to be made, most especially if those players really, like in this case, RJ Abarientos plays a key role in the previous game. So, just like what happened in San Miguel for game number 2, they were able to, neutralize those guys, and they were not able to produce in game number 3. For RJ, he has to get a lot of those easy shots early. The hardest part with RJ, he's the point guard of the team. So will he choose to be offensive-minded, or will he choose to orchestrate first for Barangay Ginebra?
4.5 points per ball game in the first 2 games. And then you add to that the performance of Jamie Malonzo in game number 2 of this series, where he only notched 5 points, and then all of a sudden that duo combining for more than 40 points. This is the kind of impact that they will have to perform, because someone must help off the bench in Barrientos and someone must generate some offense coming from the starters in Malonzo.
Well, we covered game number 2, and we saw a lot of those players not really inexistent in that series or in that game. So in this game, they were able to get a lot of confidence early, most especially in that first quarter. For me, when you have a player who has struggled in the previous game, you want them to start out early. You want them to get those easy baskets early so that they can get that confidence all throughout the game.
Of course, they will be expecting adjustments coming from the San Miguel Beermen. But for more on Barangay Ginebra, let's send it over to Ms. Bea Escudero. Bea?
Over in Hinebra, Coach Richard Del Rosario pointed to their second half defensive effort in Game 3 as the key difference, holding San Miguel to just under 100 points and tightening the gaps that hurt them in Game 2. A big focus was limiting the impact of CJ Perez, not just as a scorer, but as a playmaker, as he has been instrumental in getting his teammates going. Now, with a few extra days before this match, Hinebra is preparing for a well-rested Junmar Fajardo. And for Coach Richard, the goal is to keep San Miguel guessing on both ends of the floor. As he put it, containing Junmar is one thing, but we also need to close out hard on the shooters and stay aggressive, because staying on attack mode might just be the edge we need to take full control of this series. Gentlemen.
Thank you for that report, Bea. And that is key here, because you cannot expect the San Miguel Beermen, as good as they are, to have another game where they can only pull off three-point conversions. That is an aberration, and you have to be ready defensively if you're Barangay Ginebra, especially for this guy. I mean, Don Trollano, a weapon on offense. He can hurt you in a variety of ways, and he has shown and proven that he can be the leading scorer of this squad, as star-studded as they may be.
Well, Carlo, you know that Don Trollano usually would come off the bench, and he is definitely one of those guys that you can count on, like a sixth man who will always produce once given that playing minutes. Again, Don will definitely get his numbers. He was still steady in double figures in game number 2. But then you need the starters to also produce. Guys who are coming off the bench are definitely ready to produce for the starters, most especially to sustain that kind of good start by the starters. But then if they will not be able to produce, it will be very hard for Don to really take over the game.
When you are dealing with bumps and bruises, when you're dealing with injuries in a series, those 2 days of break, that Monday and Tuesday, could be precious to your cause, and that is the hope for Junmar Fajardo. That 2-day break, will he be well enough to perform at par, or even to start probably here in game number 4 of the series? They need the MVP to show up, because these numbers not gonna cut it. 4 of 6, I mean 6 field goal attempts only for the multiple-time MVP. They need to get him engaged even further to beat Barangay Ginebra.
Well, the good thing is, at least in game number 3, he had 12 points. He was averaging only 4 points in the first 2 games. But then if you have 12 points, it seems that Junmar is slowly regaining that kind of strength that he had. Now that he has 2 days off, let's see if he can really pull it and go beyond the 12 points that he has produced in game number 3. And at the same time, force the defense to collapse again on him and open things up for those gunners from the outside.
And from SMB this time, we toss it back to Ms. Bea Escudero. Bea?
Coming into Game 4, San Miguel head coach Leo Austria knows exactly what they are up against. He was quick to credit Hinebra's energy and pace in game number 3, saying that it clearly disrupted their flow as a team, from 50-50 balls to their struggles, especially from the deep. Now, Coach Leo also pointed out how Hinebra's fast break opportunities became a huge factor, which is why the biggest adjustment heading into this matchup isn't just tactical, it's all about effort and energy. As he put it, it's going to take more than just the minimum effort. We must get back on the other end faster and be ready to match Hinebra's tempo. So for Game 4, there is a call for everyone to step up, move the ball, stay composed, and trust the system to find the best offensive option in every possession. Now let's turn it over to the arena announcer for the starting lineup.
Getting out from Anna, the Pampanga, number 14, Stephen Hall. Small forward from Saxon Pampanga, number 3, Jeremy Malonzo. Our forward from Amulo, Cagayan, number 1, Roy Rosario. Next center from Saxon Pampanga, number 25, Japet Aguilar. Coaching Barangay Ginebra is Cinco. And it's now time to meet the starters for the San Miguel Beermen. Courtside from the top, number 33, Willie Thompson. Shooting guard from Oceana, number 77, CJ Perez. Small forward from Santiago, 11, number 13, Marshall Lister. Our forward from Apaco Albay, number 91, Rocky Trollano. And center from Pinamungahan, Cebu, number 13, Junmar Fajardo. Coaching the Beermen, it's Leo Austria.
Chasing crowns this series. Will it be a tie or a 3-1 advantage for Barangay Ginebra? We'll find out together here inside the Mall of Asia Arena. Thompson, Holt, Aguilar, Malonzo, Rosario, the 5 for Coach Demcon. And surprise, surprise, Junmar Fajardo is back in action in the starting unit alongside Tiongson, Perez, Brondial, and Marcio Lassiter. But it will be Brondial jumping it up against Japet to start this ballgame. Kilingen, Oliva, Peclaro, and Austero are our referees for this matchup. First possession will belong to Barangay Ginebra. Usually, Barangay Ginebra will test the defense early, run a play, find a mismatch, but so far, they're playing well enough on defense until that basket coming from Stephen Hall. This is the advantage. This is the hole on defense for SMB. You have a matchup that would be bigger, taller, stronger than Wami Chongson at any given opportunity.
They wanted to exploit that, Carlo, and that's also the same story in game number 2, or game number 3 rather, because they tried to force Wami into a lot of those fast break attacks wherein even RJ Abarientos was able to get those easy baskets, and even Stephen Holt off transition.
Now it is Malonzo being defended by Wami Chongson. Let's see if they could find a touch for Jamie in this possession. It's down to 5 seconds on the shot clock. There's a switch on D. Malonzo to Scotty. He needs to pull the trigger. Oh, he sends it home. That is a 4-point conversion, a buzzer beater for Scotty.
Can you imagine in that game that we covered, Carlo, that was game number 2, Scotty was having a difficult time trying to hit his shots from the outside.
Now he gets off to a quick start. 6-0 opener for Barangay Ginebra. CJ on the drive, misses, but the putback is there for Junmar Fajardo.
And it's really very hard to box out Junmar. You really have to exert a lot of effort trying to put a body on him just to keep him off the glass.
Now Rosario wants to go right back to Stephen Holt. They force him to the baseline. Scotty to Malonzo, has space, misses on the 3, and that will be a loose ball foul. Would go against Barangay Ginebra. Stephen Holt will be tagged with it. You can see Barangay Ginebra, they are looking for the mismatches first, run their offense, but keep an eye on the defensive matchups on which you can exploit, as Junmar now posting up, draws a triple team. Good scramble on the recovery for Barangay Ginebra, but they leave Marcio open, and he drains it from deep. And when he gets himself going, SMB turns into another monster altogether.
Well, especially on that in the first attempt of Marcio, that's also the same thing that happened in that previous game. Let's see if Marcio can really get hot tonight to complement that in and out combination for San Miguel.
He was the best player in their win, even though he did most of his damage in the first half. That was all they needed to get some separation, some distance between them and Barangay Ginebra. 6-5, a 5-0 counter for the Beermen. Back to that post-up. Holt flips it up, misses, as Junmar picks up the rebound. CJ versus Malonzo this time. The quick crossover and the kill. Layup, a beauty for CJ Perez.
What a beautiful move there on that Hesse there for CJ.
Almost forcing the turnover was Perez. Now that quick pass inside. Rosario, Brondial on him. The kick out pass to Scotty. The swing, 3-point attempt. Won't work for Holt, but the ball right lands to Japet, who secures that short jumper.
He's also another important player for Barangay Ginebra to get off early. And that's something that we have seen in that previous game, where he, in the second quarter alone, he was already able to produce.
Top ball screen action. Junmar against Japet. Elbow jumper, sweet for Fajardo. And you can see that he is starting out more aggressively here in this game.
The most important thing is to be able to hit those perimeter jumpers for Junmar, because it lessens the banging underneath.
Yep. Less effort. As the ball will stay with Barangay Ginebra. That was snap legal to pick up by Stephen Holt. Japet, the swing to the corner. Attacking the closeout is Scotty. He goes to the step back. The jumper is pure. 6 points early for Scotty.
Both teams starting out on a good note here. Very important in a series like this that you always try to get a jump and have a good start.
Barangay Ginebra, usually they want it low scoring and slow, but now they're matching. The San Miguel Beermen hit for hit. Junmar will get to the line.
He's moving a lot different here, Carlo. You see the aggressiveness even to go on the post.
That's a prime time move from Scotty, really. Dribbling towards the right, spinning away, and then hitting the fadeaway against a taller defender.
So many moves there in one sequence.
Filipinas Live Shorts is here. Catch exclusive bite-sized content from your favorite sports icons such as Vanny Gandler, Fifi Sharma, Dina Wong, and more. From hobbies to behind-the-scenes moments, you can catch it all if you download the Filipinas Live app and update to the latest version and get Filipinas Live Shorts for free. You have the swing of the lead once again with the San Miguel Beermen 11-10, 7:40 left in this high-scoring first quarter. Pull-up jumper, God for Stephen Holt. That's a 3.
Wow, that's also going to be a big challenge for Wami. They're attacking him on the post and they're also using those picks, those high screens to be able to get those free shots.
You can shoot over him. Any given possession. Brondial with the handoff to CJ. Perez with a two-step. Perez overcooks it. And then Junmar will draw the loose ball foul.
What a difference it makes, Carlo, in the 2 days of rest for Junmar. Look at how aggressive he is starting things out early.
Wami Chongson getting caught on the ball screen action. Way too late to try and recover, and you can't expect Junmar to step out and challenge a shooter.
But the most important thing for Junmar, if his man is the one screening, he's got to push out his man so the screen will be much higher.
They go back to Holt versus Pyongson. But now Rosario will swing it around to Scotty. Thompson uses the screen. Going under was Rosario. Foul given up by Junmar.
See, that's the beauty about the triangle offense. There's a lot of screens that makes it more difficult to really defend. If you're very good in individual defense, those screens will definitely, force enough separation between the defender.
Slipping the screen was Troy Rosario, finding an opening as he secures the first free throw. Troy, 5 points, 6 rebounds. Numbers were down, but really it was the effort on the defensive end that was needed coming from Troy Rosario. He's okay. He's perfectly fine not taking shots. He just plays the role that is given to him by Coach Tim. We send it over to Bea for more.
Troy Rosario had a quiet 5-point game, but he says that it was simply just how the game flowed, especially with the tough task of guarding Junmar Fajardo one-on-one in the post. Despite Junmar's injury, Troy knows he's still a major threat, especially with SMB supporting cast ready to step up to help. That is why for Troy, the focus isn't on scoring, it's on rebounding and staying composed. As he put it, the offense can come from anyone. We have a lot of weapons for that, so my job is to be ready, grab those boards, and prepare for the physicality they will bring tonight. Gentlemen.
Well, he was definitely ready to perform his role, getting the steal on one end and then completing the play with a putback on the other. Troy Rosario starting off early and giving Barangay Ginebra their biggest lead of the matchup, 17-11, forcing this time out from the San Miguel Beermen.
Get access
back inside the Mall of Asia Arena for the first quarter of this matchup. Game 4 of this best of 7 series between Barangay Ginebra San Miguel and the San Miguel Beermen. We thank you once again for joining us on PBA Rush and Filipinas Live. Carlo Pamintuan, Eric Reyes on the call. Miss Bea Escudero, our courtside reporter. And Hinebra beating SMB in their own game. It's a high-scoring duel, but it is Barangay Ginebra with the advantage by 6 so far. What adjustments will we see coming from the camp of Coach Leo Austria? He retains all of his starters, while we're already seeing a shift from Barangay Ginebra. Tiong Son left open up top. No one rotating quickly to him as he burns them from downtown.
It's going to be a good combination for this San Miguel team because of his, we all know that Wami is a dead shot from the outside, so he'll definitely complement Marshall also on the backcourt.
Another pick and roll play, another bucket from a Barangay Ginebra big. It is Japet delivering this time and extending their lead back up to 5.
You have to remember, game number 3, a lot of the starters of Barangay Ginebra did very well offensively.
That's a technical foul. Flopping technical will be called against Wami.
Technical foul on number 33, Wami Johnson, for breaking the foul. For foul.
Referee Noel Kilingen, our senior official, right on top of it. And now it will be Abarientos taking the technical free throw. Minimal contact, nothing that would force Wami to lose his balance on the landing. That's why it was called technical, and that is an unsportsmanlike technical foul. So you'll have to keep it clean if you're Wami, because SMB cannot afford to lose a weapon like him. Back to the biggest lead of the ball game at 6 points for Barangay Ginebra. Japet to Scotty. Ball screen action once again. Another pocket pass. The extra pass down low. Great recovery though on defense for Marcio Lassiter. CJ in between the defense and he sends it home.
I just love that hang time move. And despite that contact, he was still able to finish and kiss it off the glass.
4-point advantage for Barangay Ginebra. That pass lands with Japet, and that shot has been available all game long. Another putback from Troy Rosario.
Hinebra's really having a great first quarter here. Coach Tim Cone encouraging a lot of these guys to really have a good start and maintain that kind of pace throughout the game.
CJ one-on-one against Malonzo. He locates Marcio. There's a switch on D. They swing it up top to Brondial. They go to the high-low. Turnaround jumper, too strong, coming from Junmar. And now we're running to the other side, Jamie. It's halted momentarily by CJ, and now they will reset their offense. Ball screen action once again. And now Japet attacks. Japet, the short stab, no. Fajardo with a rebound. 22-16. Less than 4 minutes remaining in your first quarter of action. CJ has been aggressive, and it has been a lot of downhill drives coming from him. Marcio on the move. Lassiter still with it. Brondial will launch straight away. 3 is gone.
He's not really known for that, but if he's got to take it, he's got to take it. And it's good that he contributed coming off the 3-point shot.
He will not be challenged from there. He will be left open. He will be there to take it, but he has proven that he can make that shot from time to time.
Well, it's a better gamble rather than having Marshall Lassiter get the ball and taking that shot.
Now we have substitutions coming in. Scotty will take his first break of the matchup. In comes Maverick Ahanmisi. And now Chris Ross also entering the ball game for the San Miguel Beermen alongside Motao Tua. 3-point shooting. San Miguel Beer already matching their output from the entire game 3. Ross to the corner. Marcio goes to the step back. Won't work. Brondial loses it to the baseline. It will head to Barangay Ginebra. Trollano makes his entry into the matchup. And Coach Demcone will also employ Jeremiah Gray. So both teams starting to go to their bench. Only 2 starters remaining for SMB and Brondial and CJ. And it'll be the same for Barangay Ginebra with Malonzo and Japet. Malonzo has space for 3. Cannot sink it. Chris Ross on the push. They're trying to get something early. Trollano likes this matchup, but the ball bounces right back to him on the pass. That will be a traveling violation. Awkward move coming from Don.
That's how quick the defense of Barangay Ginebra is really reacting to every move that the San Miguel players would make.
Now a timeout coming from Barangay Ginebra. They lead by 3, 22-19.
You know what I love about Filipinas Live?
Siguro yung nag-add sa akin, nakatulong sa akin yung pag-motivate sa akin ng mga coaches. Lahat sila sinasabi sa akin, if I have shots, take it. Parang hindi nila ako pinipigilan. Nasa akin na yun kung paano ko babasahin, paano ko i-reads, at paano ko makikita yung game pag nasa akin yung bola. So, yung confident hindi lang naman galing sa akin, galing sa teammate ko, galing sa mga coaches. Niyakap ko lang, in-embrace ko lang yung ganung moment. So, kaya yun, nakuha ko siguro yung game ko ngayon, game 3.
RJ Abarientos repaying the trust that his coaches and his teammates continue to have on him amidst the struggles in the first 2 games. Stuck with it, and he was rewarded with a big-time 4th quarter to lead them to a victory in this 2-1 series advantage. Another substitution from Barangay Ginebra. Now it is Troy Rosario coming right back and replacing Japet Aguilar. Coach Tim wants one of them at least to be on the floor at any given time, Eric.
Well, they're both great rebounders and rim protectors. That's also the reason why Coach Tim needs those guys there. But definitely, Hinebra will be much shorter, most especially if it's going to be Troy at the 5 position.
Now let's see if Mo Tautua can get himself going against this matchup. A skip pass. And now Brondial inside. He kicks it out to Ross. Quick hands coming from Abarientos. But there's a recovery from San Miguel. A
Great
completed
defense.
stop now as Rosario claims the loose ball. Ahan Misi with 1:52 remaining in the first quarter. Mav to the corner to Malonzo. And now Abarientos asking for a screen. Instead, it's a pass to Maya. The 3-point shot is a miss. Tautua claims the rebound for SMB. Ross wants to clear out that space. He might want to go on the post up here against a smaller RJ Abarientos. He draws a double team. CJ on the attack. And that will be a foul, which will result in 2 free throws for CJ. Barrientos called for the swipe. Now an opportunity to pull even closer if you're the San Miguel Beermen with Perez on the line for 2.
I like the matchup here between Chris Ross on RJ Abarientos. Same size, and of course his defensive abilities on him.
CJ, after an explosive 21 points in the first game, only 11 at 40% shooting in games 2 and 3. Maybe that's why he's veering a little bit away from the outside shot and focusing his offense on penetrations. And he sinks the back end of his free throws.
So the penetrations will definitely help, most especially the most important thing here for CJ is to really get past the initial defense. Because you force the help, now the outside shooters will be free.
Oh, what a drive coming from Maverick Ahanmisi, taking all of the defenders that came his way and still ending up with a bucket.
Despite all the, especially coming off the bench, Ahanmisi is always ready to play and provide those numbers.
Chris Ross on the layup, he misses. Maya with the board. That's 3 possessions remaining here in the first quarter. Ross saw it coming from a mile away, easy takeaway. And now the forward pass to CJ. Perez on the Euro, draws contact. Almost banking that shot home.
It's a bit similar to what Scotty Thompson did in the previous game, wherein like they're so off balance already, and they have that ability to have that presence of mind to still launch a shot.
CJ Perez will get another foul whistled against Abarrientos. This time around, he sinks the first free throw.
That's going to be good for the Beermen because they don't want, again, another explosion here from RJ Abarrientos. He had 18 in the fourth quarter in the previous game.
Jason David lost his footing, and just as second free throw was nailed by CJ. And now it is 24-22, a 2-point lead for Barangay Ginebra. Good find coming from Abarrientos and another bucket from Troy Rosario, who has come to play here in Game 4.
He's very productive in this game. We were just talking about his output so far in the series. And look at how Troy has already erupted in this game with 8 points.
Bit of a zone coming from Barangay Ginebra. And Chris Ross will not be able to beat them. Trollano, turnaround jumper just before the buzzer sounded to end the first quarter of the action. A good one between Hinebra and San Miguel Beer. But at the end of it, after the first 12 minutes of action, it will be Barangay Ginebra holding a 2-point advantage, 26-24 against SMB.
Pilipinas Live is the home of Philippine volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP, all in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
G, what has been troubling you guys right now, and how do you plan to adjust that to turn things around?
Right now, it's the pick and roll with small and big, Japet, and Troy Rosario was able to get some easy baskets there.
Coach Peter, Hinebra seems to be responding with a lot of energy. What has been troubling you guys right now, and how do you plan to adjust that to turn things around?
Right now, it's the pick and roll with small and big, Japet, and Troy Rosario was able to get some easy baskets there. So we're going to adjust a little bit. I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do, but we're going to do the adjustments.
So much, Coach. Gentlemen, back to you.
We'll have to guess what we'll try to read on what adjustment they will employ to try and take away that pocket pass and that mid-range look. Even the cuts, the dives coming from the bigs of Barangay Ginebra. We start the second quarter with Trollano on the attack. Comes up empty this time around as Maverick Ahanmisi skies for the loose ball. Ahanmisi this with Rosario, Gray, Barrientos, and Jason David Rosario will miss that three-point attempt. Cruz, the push shot, his signature move is good for two to tie this contest. Cruz is with Chris Ross, Mo Tautua, Dre Cahilig, and Don Troliano as a 5 for Coach Leo Austria. Ahanmisi, everyone focusing their defense on that shaded area. Maverick still finds a pass. Somehow the ball lands with Barrientos.
Almost.
In and out on the triple, as there will be a foul here. That is tough as Dre Cahilig got banged up with David landing on his knee.
That's a scary sight right there, most especially if a player is holding on to his knee and in pain.
Oh, it's not David, it is Gray who lands on the side of the knee of Dre Cahilig. And you can see even the reaction of Jeremiah. He knew that something bad could have happened. Again,
Could have hyperextended it, Carlo.
Yep.
And we all know that Maya had a lot of his fair share of, scary moments with his knee. That's why he knows that in a situation like that, when you land and you back down unintentionally, of course.
Yeah. And with Maya, it's not his fair share. He has seen too much.
Too much
He has
already.
missed too much time due to knee injury. So I'm sure he commiserates with Dre Cahilig.
These are careers of the players we're talking about, most especially with these injuries that last a long time for them to recover. Let's really hope.
But as always, you would much rather see a contact knee injury as compared to a non-contact knee injury.
Yes, that's also more. Chances are the non-contact ones, lately have been more often.
So an opportunity to see action for Jeron Teng as Maya hits the first free throw to get the lead back for their side.
He's averaging 4 points per game, 2 rebounds. He's a guy coming off the bench. He's a steady shooter, most especially when given that opportunity.
For Barangay Ginebra, you know that the lion's share of the offense will be produced by your first 5 and then your number 6, which will be Barrientos. So anything that comes from the other guys, from Ahanmisi, of course from Maya, from David even, will be crucial to their cause as Jeron Teng finds the pass towards Chris Ross. And now Jericho pulling the trigger from downtown. The 3 is good for Cruz.
Oh, he's another guy who is definitely a steady presence coming off the bench. We talked about Troliano at the top of the coverage. Jericho Cruz, in my books, is also a steady, guy coming off the bench.
Maya fakes the handoff, and now it is given to Barrientos. Fouled from behind by Chris Ross.
Chris Ross, one of the tough defenders in the guard position. He has his hands full with a guy like RJ Barrientos.
Barrientos with a bit of speed advantage. Hit the brakes, waited for the contact, waited for the foul against Chris Ross. 1 point lead for SMB. And that is exactly what he does. Chris Ross, one-man stop as he takes the basketball away from Maya.
In the many years that I've watched Chris Ross perform here in the PBA, he's definitely known as a great defender.
This Tibay defensive stop of the half is brought to you by Pioneer Elastosil. Pioneer Elastosil, Tibay defense sa tag-init o tag-ulan, Elastosil mo yan. Stephen Holt will check back into this contest, replacing Maya, as the San Miguel Beermen have 10 to work with in this possession. Jericho measuring up the defense of Barrientos. 3-point shot, another one.
Oh, Jericho! He's fired up against RJ Barrientos, giving a stare down there.
And he extends their lead to 4 right now, 32-28. Holt to Rosario. Troy the handoff to Ahanmisi. Tough angle on the jumper, he misses. But the rebound is claimed and lost to the baseline. It will head back to SMB.
San Miguel has, in a situation like that, they have to be hungrier for that basketball, especially that they're down in the series. With a step back jumper from the 3. A tough shot to make.
Barrientos was right there though. Still could not bother Cruz. Trollano drives, stops. And he will take 2.
He's just so good in putting that ball on the floor, and he'll give you that bump. You really have to hold your ground when you're defending Don Trollano.
Now this quarter has belonged to the San Miguel Beermen so far, as Trollano will miss the first free throw. Thompson comes back into this matchup, replacing Jason David. So the MVP from the other side, Junmar Fajardo, will do the same, getting Mo Tautua. Oh, 2 misses coming from Don Trollano. As we have Ahan Misi creating, he sends it to the corner. Barrientos hangs midair and converts.
That's greatness right there for RJ. It's very difficult if you have that last name on your jersey. There's a lot of greatness when you have that last name, Carlo. And look at the way he's playing right now. He's been challenged in the first 2 games of the series, but literally exploded in the last game, and he has a different aura, coming into this game.
Barrientos, his averages, of course, upgraded by that high-scoring performance, that best player of the game performance in Game 3 of this series, as he answers back with that N1. 1-point lead for the Beermen. Geron inside. He will not shy away from taking matters into his own hands.
Oh, that's great defense on the part of Barangay Ginebra, helping out from the baseline, and yet Geron was still able to find a way to get it in.
You can play him 0 minutes 1 game, but when you give him an opportunity, he will do what he does best, and that is attack, and attack relentlessly. This is open from the corner. Malonzo hits the 3.
Oh, that's a mistake right there on the part of Geron. You gotta choose first if you're gonna help out or if you're just gonna stay home.
Extra possession for the Beermen. 3 will not work for Jericho as Hinebra completes the stop. We are tied right now, 34 apiece. A no-look pass. Malonzo, the swing to the corner. Hold for 3, short. So that will be a blocking foul against Jamie Malonzo, as his body was angled awkwardly to try and draw that charge. As we see this conversion from Alonso, sinking it from the corner.
That's why it's so important there, Carlo, that if individual defenses alone, you have to try to at least stay in front of your man, because if you force your teammate to help out, one guy will be free.
Just a foul on Jamie Malonzo. As Cristo Sales, who had a strong Game 2 performance, we'll see his first action here in Game 4. Geron Teng posting up against Barrientos. Again, that shot will be available for him all game long unless they send a double team.
Why is it that the guards are the ones that's being targeted on the low post? On one hand, you have Wami, and here's RJ Barrientos.
You might be skilled on offense, but if you're not as big, you will be bullied on the other side.
Well, that happens, but sometimes, a guy who had a great game, coaches would make you work on defense in the next game.
Burn some of that energy off, get you a little bit tired. As you can see, Ray Kahilik. For more on him, we send it back to Ms. Bea.
A quick update on Andre Cahilig. According to PT Edward Bacason, Andre did sustain a bone contusion after hyperextending his left knee. Right now, he is unable to put any weight on it, and they are currently icing the area to prevent it from swelling. As for his return tonight, it will depend on how the knee responds after icing, so I'll keep you guys posted later on. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bea, for that report. We know that he is part of the rotation for Coach Leo Austria. He's their extra possessions guy. When Brondial comes out of the game, he plays a certain role, a similar role, and he can also make three-point shots like Brondial did earlier.
Then play the 3, the 4, even the 2 position.
Japet just made that first free throw, 18 points in game 3. More aggressive, taking more shots. You can see, you know, the lack of rebounding numbers. Usually that's because he is also a man to box out Junmar, and then you give up your own numbers just to help your squad get a stop.
It's very hard, you know, most especially, you know, the size of Junmar trying to block him out. You should really remove yourself from the equation because you just need to get him off the glass.
Junmar trying to get position inside. Jeron says, why? I'm here and I am
Jeron
going all the way.
Wow, look at how aggressive Jeron is in this game. He's all pumped up. You know, if you have a guy who doesn't really get that much playing minutes but is a great scorer, once he tastes blood because of the first couple of shots that he makes, now he will be extra aggressive, knowing that some of his teammates are hurt like Drake Cahilig, and he's got to step up.
Former King Archer, 6 points, missing the bonus free throw, but he has been helpful coming off their bench to get the lead back to SMB. Thompson to the corner, Malonzo, but the defense is right there. We have a handoff back to Jamie. 7 on shot clock for Barangay Ginebra. Malonzo drives, hangs midair, misses as Junmar claims the emphatic board. Rosales now will post up a Barrientos. Jericho drive the kick. Jeron on the move. Missing the layup. Putback is there though for Don Troliano.
I will still give credit to Jeron there. He did a very good job on attacking the glass. Once you attack the glass, you force the help, then at least if you miss, your teammates will be able to clear it and go for the offensive rebound.
Cruz making it difficult for Scotty to even get a touch here. Still, they could not locate him. Barrientos missing from deep, and there will be a foul against Japet.
That's total denial on Scotty Thompson. A lot of respect by Jericho there, because if the guy, or if Scotty doesn't get the basketball, he's not going to be effective as a player.
40-36, 4-point lead for the San Miguel Beermen as we head into the first time out of our second quarter.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
The season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays, talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
Back inside the Mall of Asia Arena, Game 4 of this best of 7 series, and for more game analysis, we now bring in the X's and O's Arena Plus live analyst, Nico Salva. Nico, ball screen action going up against Junmar Fardo is a weapon that many teams use. You want him moving, you want him tested on defense. How can the rest of the squad help Junmar Fajardo out and take away the offense coming from Japet or Troy Rosario that we saw in the first quarter.
It's definitely a game plan for Hinebra to be able to hit that role, knowing that Junmar will be mushing or will be helping on that guard coming out of the ball screen. And if you are San Miguel, you have to be able to rotate guys or be able to tag guys in the role of Japet and Troy.
Thank you so much for the analysis, Nico Salva. Let's see what the adjustments will be coming from the San Miguel Beermen. But so far, so good for them. They have not been burned yet with any offense coming from Japet or Troy here in the second quarter. Roliano goes right back to Jeron Teng, now being manned by Ahan Misi. Jeron has a bigger, tougher defender against him as he was forced to a miss. Rosario against Roliano. Now Stephen Holt goes back to Troy on the repos. Great scrambling defense from SMB. But they leave Scotty momentarily open and he drains it from downtown.
There were two guys already on Scotty Thompson. He still hit that outside shot.
1 point disadvantage for Barangay Ginebra. SMB hoping to build the lead further as CJ has it versus Holt. CJ with a quick step. Comes up empty on that drive. Ahan Misi pushing for Barangay Ginebra. The quick pass to Japet. No advantage there as he will dribble out and hope for a handoff. They could not connect though. Japet takes matters into his own hands, dumps it off. The high looper is good for Ahan Misi.
You gotta admire the ball handling skills of Japet Aguilar to be able to keep his head up and find that extra pass to Ahan Misi.
Lead shifts back to Barangay Ginebra. Quick pass inside, that's too deep. Oh, but a good recovery on defense. A block from behind from Scotty.
But Junmar was not really able to gather himself under the basket after that spin. Thus, he was not able to go up stronger to the basket.
Roliano, Jeron Teng headed to the bench. So this is a tall front line for Coach Leo Austria. With Junmar Fajardo and Tautua there. That will be a traveling violation. Hugo step. Same foot. Leapt and landed against CJ. Four minutes and change left here in the second quarter. Barangay Ginebra hoping for a 3-1 series advantage. While SMB wanting to have a deadlock at 2 wins apiece. Thompson. That pass again, the jumper won't work this time. But again, that shot remains available for the bigs of Ginebra.
Oh, they're looking at that pick and roll also. And that kick out. They want to go drive and kick, or they want to see what comes out of a pick and roll, either a roll to the basket or a flare out.
And what they're doing is they're operating on an empty corner, which means that there will be no help defender from that side of the floor, leaving an opening for the bigs of Hinebra. Now Fajardo, one-on-one against Japet, but the threat of the double was there. CJ, step back three, no, rebound Japet. Ahan Misi to hold, not pull the trigger just yet. Maverick against a big, he has speed advantage all day versus Tautua. Mav creates contact, deep layup is good.
He used that bump to get enough room to be able to hoist a shot.
Strong enough to finish after that contact, as it's a 3-point lead now for Hinebra.
You gotta be strong also to do that on Tautua.
Marcio has it. That will be a foul called against Stephen Holt, as he had to be extra physical with the threat of a Tautua post-up.
Oh, Holt did a very good job on staying in front. It's just that, you know, he had his hands out. And look at that bump here. This is that just enough room to be able to, get him off you. Most especially on Tautua, on how big he is.
Oh, Ahan Misi was called for the foul?
I was looking at Holt and Tautua there on the post. That's where all the action was. Didn't really see much on what happened on the weak side.
As we have a timeout coming from Barangay Ginebra, they lead 43-40 with 2:53 left here in your second quarter. Back inside the Mall of Asia Arena for the second quarter of this matchup, we have PBA Commissioner Willie Marcia, PBA Vice Chairman Francis Chu, Northport Governor Eric Areola in attendance. Des Encarnacion also here. As we thank you for joining us, PBA Rush and Filipinas Live. Once again, I'm Carlo Pamintuan with Eric Reyes on the call. Miss Bea Escudero working hard as our courtside reporter. And the fans enjoying the game experience inside this venue. After this game day, we shift over to the Smart Araneta Coliseum for the rest of the semifinals. So make sure that you can book your tickets early because those games, as we go nearer and nearer to the finals, will be packed. So the referees acknowledge their mistake, correct the call, and issue the foul versus Stephen Holt.
That's going to be his third foul there.
Yep.
He better watch it because he's a key player or he's a starter in this lineup.
But the problem there, Eric, and I'm just putting it out there, is if Stephen Holt was assessed the foul earlier as Marcio hits this three, if it was a foul on Holt earlier, Coach Tim could have challenged.
Yes.
Right? To try and protect your player. But because there was a mistake, issuing the foul on Ahan Misi, which they were okay with, then they didn't. And then the timeout happened. And then you couldn't do anything anymore by the time the action resumed.
Well, the reason behind it is that it's okay for the coaching staff that the foul would be given to Han Misi.
Sure, yeah.
Because so far, Anisi has no fouls yet, and Steve and Holt already has, well, that he had 2 fouls earlier, plus this one now, it becomes 3.
Again, that's just how it happens sometimes. Deep seal, but a miss from Troy Rosario. And now SMB looking for the lead. Oh, the defense did not commit to CJ Perez. Barrientos was right there, but maybe he could not match with the speed of the PBA's apex predator.
The rule is to sprint down on defense, and that's you have to guard those guys off transition first.
Oh, Barrientos made up for it on the other side. Making that
he made up for it, and that's how a good player should be doing it. You make a mistake, you go move on to the next play and do something good for your team.
And Coach Timko says, apology accepted. Give and go. But the layup is strong coming from Marcio. And the stop is completed by Barangay Ginebra. They're on the run. Ahan Misi, middle. Scrappy, inside.
You know, I like the way Barangay Ginebra has been fighting for those 50-50 balls. They're more aggressive. They're always first to those loose balls, and that will give them extra possessions in this game.
Lead is back with Barangay Ginebra, and now Tautua will post up against Japet. Tautua making a move, and that will be a hack. And with both teams in penalty, 2 free throws coming up for Mo.
Mo will always call that attention of the guards from the top because he wants to put the ball down when he's pivoting in the shaded area. But look at the way Barangay Ginebra takes advantage of their speed.
Tautua has not yet scored in this match. It's on the board with the first free throw. The games that he started He certainly was helpful to the cause of the San Miguel Beermen.
He's pretty steady with his performance. You know, he's definitely a key player, most especially from a guy coming off the bench, and especially in the series where Junmar is still recovering from that calf injury.
47-47. Thompson and CJ Perez against each other now. Junmar steps out to defend Japet, but the shot was already on the way up. Lead is back to Barangay Ginebra.
Always, you know, Junmar will always be the target of the guards in a pick and roll situation, because if he switches or if he helps, then he allows the open look from guys like Japet Aguilar to hit those perimeter jumpers.
So it was CJ versus Scotty, and then Junmar versus Japet. All of them will be teammates for Gilas Pilipinas for the upcoming FIBA Asia Cup. And we will be having, just heard the news that Gilas Pilipinas will play a tune-up game against the Macau Black Bears come July before they leave for Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, after Drake Ahilig went down with a knee injury, Jeron Teng stepped up and delivered points coming off the bench for Coach Leo Austria. He attacked all of the defenders sent his way. He bullied smaller covers like RJ Abariantos. Let's see if he'll have another opportunity to play later on in the second half.
You know, whatever it is, you know, you play 6 minutes, you had 6 points. That's already big for any player coming off the bench. That's a big contribution, most especially if you're, you know, one of those guys to be given that opportunity to play.
And Jeron puts in the work. I mean, he attacks every game like he was playing all 48 minutes. You can see him working before the contest, doing all sorts of activations. But that's just the type of guy he is. Junmar,
Nice
deep
pass.
seal. Oh, 3-second violation against Fajardo. As that will be turned over by SMB.
You see the San Miguel bench complaining of the call.
49-47, a 2-point advantage for Barangay Ginebra. They use the top ball screen. A re-screen now. The pocket pass. One-hander in and out for Japet, but they found a way to get him open once again. CJ, quicker than Troy. He sets up a pass to Marcio. Continued on to the corner. Defense is right there. Wami for three. It's good to take the lead for SMB.
Beautiful patience there on the part of San Miguel. They had Junmar on target on that low post, but once he started to back down, the other player, this Wami Chongson, going for that handoff.
Sneaky pass inside. Tip in. It's good at the buzzer. And I believe there was a whistle as well. I heard a whistle. So there might be a foul on that end, on that putback coming from Troy.
Right now, that Hinebra offense has really been very fluid, getting a lot of those open looks and those opportunities for the rest of the team to score.
Basket is good for Troy Rosario, and then a foul right before the buzzer will be called against CJ Perez. 0.8 seconds left. But a bonus free throw coming up for Troy, who has all of a sudden exploded for 10 first half points after a quiet 5-point performance in Game 3.
This is going to be a big, production for Troy, and we're only at the half. He definitely is playing great, moving well too.
The free throw is a miss, almost a putback coming from Japet. So it will be a slim 1-point advantage for Barangay Ginebra San Miguel at the end of our first 24 minutes of action. It has been tough. It has been rugged and physical between these two teams, as the advantage only slim from the side of Barangay Ginebra. Jeron Teng came in, helped out. Junmar Fajardo started off well in this ball game after getting another start, but it has been the balance in the offense of Barangay Ginebra that will push them just a tad ahead. It is 51-50 in their favor as we head into the second half of action here inside the Mall of Asia Arena.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
The season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all-out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
I love about
Pilipinas Live is the home of Philippine volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP. All in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
the season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all-out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
About Pilipinas Live.
Pilipinas Live is the home of Philippine volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP, all in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
The season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
Pilipinas Live is the home of Philippine volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP, all in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
The season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
About Filipinas Live.
Pilipinas Live is the home of Philippine volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP. All in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
The season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all-out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
Filipinas Live.
Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP. All in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
And the half of Game 4 here in this best of 7 semifinal series in your PBA 49 season Philippine Cup. We have Barangay Ginebra with a slim advantage of just 1 point against the San Miguel Beermen. Barangay Ginebra looking for a dominant 3-1 series advantage. SMB looking to tie things up at 2 wins apiece. Carlo Pamintuan, Eric Reyes on the call. Miss Bea Escudero, our courtside reporter. 1 quarter for Hinebra, the other for SMB. Both tight, both tough, as we look at the numbers that told us the story in those first 24 minutes.
Well, the most important thing for San Miguel is this is the missing link in the previous game. At least they're shooting better from the three-point line compared to Barangay Ginebra. The second chance points alone, it was Barangay Ginebra, courtesy of a lot of those guys. Troy Rosario been very aggressive off the glass. Both turnovers and even points off turnovers, well, this is where San Miguel was really able to take advantage of and convert those 7 easy points coming off those mistakes by Barangay Ginebra.
Tremendous shooting from downtown for the San Miguel Beermen. Let's see if they can keep it going as we now take a look at our leading scorers, Thompson and Rosario. Double digits for Barangay Ginebra. No one scoring in double digits just yet for SMB. CJ Perez leading them with 9. Cruz backing him up with 8 points coming off the bench. And you already saw the other guys who can step up and shine as well. And Jeron Teng now, for Coach Leo Austria, the opportunity is there to vary up your lineup, to mix and match and look for something that will work out better here in the third quarter.
But on the positive note, at least for San Miguel, you have a lot of guys scoring. It takes the load off or the pressure on Junmar Fajardo.
We send it over to Bell.
Coach Richard, it's been a close first half. What factors did you identify in the dugout that could shift momentum over at your side?
Well, really need to do a better job in taking care of the ball. Their second group came in and really gave them a lift. Jeron Teng, Jericho Cruz. We're not shooting the ball particularly well, but we're still up by 1. So we have to trust our defense here in the second half. They're still in line at pace to get a 100-point to be a 100-point game. Yeah, we want to score below 100 points to give ourselves a chance to win.
Thank you for your time, Coach Richard. Back to you, gentlemen.
Thank you for that interview, Miss Belle Gregorio. She is a courtside reporter for RPTV, but we get the opportunities to get to hear right from the source, from Coach Richard Del Rosario again. It has always been that way. If you limit San Miguel Beer to 100 or fewer, then you stand a better chance.
Yes, and that's also their defensive game plan in every series, most especially in the semis or even in the finals, because they know that defense wins championships.
See the last meetings between these two teams in the playoffs. But all of those were with Justin Brownlee. Right?
Yes.
All of those, of course, Barangay Ginebra, 2-1 advantage in the series in those 3 matches. But those are all import conferences. In the all-Filipino, it feels a lot different.
Oh yes, I mean that's why in the first half we've seen a lot of support coming off the bench, most especially from San Miguel, because each and every contribution by every member of the team will definitely help.
An interesting adjustment coming from Coach Leo Austria as Jericho Cruz gets a start here in the third quarter, taking the place of Marcio Lassiter, and immediately makes an impact, getting the lead back for SMB on the layup.
You know, again, San Miguel attacking from CJ. For Hinebra, you gotta see that weak side action, because a lot of times you will get killed coming from guys off that weak side.
Defense standing tall for the San Miguel Beermen, but they leave an opening, and that is converted. A 3-point shot coming from Alonzo.
But they needed that, because in the first half, even Coach Richard was saying that San Miguel was shooting very well from threes, and now it's a good way for them to start things out.
Second 3-point conversion of the match for Jamie, who was outstanding on offense in their Game 3 victory. Another attack coming from CJ. The pass bothered, but it lands right back to him. Drops it off, the easiest bucket of the ball game for Junmar Fajardo. Bit of a lucky break there for the San Miguel Beermen, but they'll take it.
They were predictable already because they saw CJ going 1-on-1 from the top of the key.
Rosario almost instructing Stephen Holt to post up against Wami Chongson. The threat of the double was there. Jumper, good for Japet. Even that shot happened because Brondial had to mind Stephen Holt on the post-up.
Yes, usually when the help side would have to collapse, it always frees up the weak side for a quick jumper. But I was really looking at Wami Chongson and Stephen Holt. There's a lot of action, a lot of color developing between those two guys.
Seal screen provided, and then the putback is good for Junmar Fajardo. as the offense is flowing freely here in the early goings of the third quarter.
The thing is, Carlo, you don't want Junmar to get those easy baskets, coming off those drop passes or those easy putbacks.
Rosario with another tip in.
I was just talking about Junmar and those putbacks. Troy Rosario has been doing a great job off the offensive glass in those second chance points.
Troy now the leading scorer of this ball game with a dozen. As the lead shifts back to Barangay Ginebra, 58-56. Cruz could be another playmaker here for SMB. Wami goes to CJ. Perez against Scotty. Screen rejected by CJ. He takes the three and he cans it.
That's how great a scorer he is. It would seem that the defense was just right there, 5-on-5, and yet he was still able to find a way to score.
Second player in double digits for the San Miguel Beermen after the 10 of Jeric Cruz. Now Perez with 12. A counter-attack blocked from behind though from Junmar Fajardo. Stop for SMB. CJ now using the screen. The pass connects but awkwardly. CJ another three. Not this time as the tap goes right back to him.
There.
Perez to Fajardo. And he was hammered by Scotty Thompson, who had no other recourse but to give up that foul.
We've seen a lot of 50-50 balls in the first half. And now that in that play alone, CJ was able to pick up a lot there.
And this Tibay defensive stop of the half is brought to you by Pioneer Elastoseal. Pioneer Elastoseal, Tibay defense sa tag-init o tag-ulan. Elastoseal mo yan. Junmar also in double digits now with double-double, actually. 11 points, 11 boards.
Early double-double here for Junmar.
Converting on both free throws to extend their lead to 3, 61-58. How will Barangay Ginebra respond? No big runs as of yet here in this matchup for either squad. That ball was kicked. Reset. The shot clock to 14 for Hinebra. Thompson will be the inbounder. Wanted to go right to Stephen Holt, but that option was denied. Scotty attacks deep, stops the pass, tap, and stolen. Forward pass down to Jericho. Cruz to CJ. He will have to earn the points from the stripe.
That will energize San Miguel with the way they're playing defense. They're scrambling, they're helping, and then now it's off to the races, most especially off a good defensive stop.
Biggest lead was only 4 for the San Miguel Beermen in the first half. Now they can reset it with these 2 free throws. CJ though misses the first, as we remind you that the PBL is back and on tour. Watch the heart of volleyball as it goes around the Philippines. Only on One Sports Plus, and Pilipinas Live. Re-establishing their biggest lead of the ball game, 62-58 in favor of SMB. Chapet against Junmar. Hand off to Holt. The screen, the pass stolen by Bardo. Forward pass down to Jericho. Jericho is gone.
Coach Sim does not like what he sees right there because their plays have really been dissected and stopped by San Miguel.
And how about the adjustment coming from Coach Leo Austria, injecting Jericho Cruz as a starter here in the third quarter, already paying dividends as they now extend their lead to its biggest of this ball game, forcing a timeout from Barangay Ginebra San Miguel.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
This season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all-out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
Mga ka-PBA, let's keep an eye out para sa mga lookalike ng ating mga PBA players. Andreas Kahilig lookalike ba to? Tingnan natin mga ka-PBA. How about this Troy Rosario lookalike on the twin cam? And finally, ito naman ang lookalike ni Scotty Thompson, Mall of Asia Arena. Check it out. This coolest of all time twin cam is brought to you by Rexona. Stay cool in the heat of the game with Rexona Ice Cool, keeping you fresh throughout. It won't let you down.
And that was your Rexona twin. Kung naghanap lang sana sila ng ka-look-alike ni Tom Cruise, yung katabi ko sana si Eric Reyes. So baka next game, Eric.
Vin Diesel naman. Vin Diesel naman, Carlo. Oo naman, Tom Cruise. Ang layo naman ni Tom Cruise.
Sinlaki ng katawan mo yun.
Vin Diesel man lang.
6-point advantage for the San Miguel Beermen, 64-58. As Hinebra looking for answers, looking for a way back. Japet, get that away from here, says Junmar. As the offense looks stagnant for Hinebra once again.
The past 3 plays they were really read very well by San Miguel. In the first half, we've seen a lot of fluidity there in their offense, wherein they were expecting Junmar to play that pick and roll much better.
Stephen Holt missing on the layup, even as he got the step on Wami Chongson. Another opportunity to advance their lead for the San Miguel Beermen. 11-4 advantage on the break for the white shirts. Fajardo goes outside to Tiongson, has space, and will convert.
Tiwamis is a steady presence there on the backcourt, most especially from the outside.
You can see Barangay Ginebra trying to attack early as they could not find a way to go up against the defense of SMB when it sets. That will be a tap out. It will stay with Hinebra 12 in the shot clock.
So far, that's a much better attempt there because you see that at least you force Junmar into that pick and roll again.
We send it over to Bea.
At the half, Coach Peter Martin shared that it's been much better basketball from the Beermen through 2 quarters, highlighting the improved effort and energy to match Hinebra's pace and better shooting from beyond the arc, which Coach Peter hopes that they can sustain in the second half. However, he pointed out the need to tighten up on defense, especially in locating Hinebra's shooters like Scotty Thompson, which starts with stronger individual defense. Now, gentlemen, just a quick update on Andre Kahilig. He was checked again in the dugout, and it is unlikely that we will see him return tonight after hyperextending his left knee. Gentlemen.
Thank you for that report, Bea. As we now need to see Barangay Ginebra fight back because they're down by 11 points, 69-58. Coach Tim wants a game changer. He has already called the number of RJ Abarrientos to check in at the next opportunity. Good extra pass, a bucket down low.
Coach Tim doesn't really want that. Even if you cannot convert from your offense, you have to play better defense because Hinebra has really been known to limit opponents below 100 points.
15-0 blast. Just when we were saying that there were no big runs yet in this game, San Miguel Beer turns the matchup completely around, leading by 13 now. Barangay Ginebra, their defense was the story in the first game as they locked down the San Miguel Beermen and their offense. But after that, 6 players scoring in double figures as SMB just blasted Hinebra, even as Junmar Fajardo did not start in that ball game. They got key contributions from the rest of the field, but game 3 was all about the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter was all about RJ Abarientos for Barangay Ginebra. Now, the first big punch of this matchup landed by the San Miguel Beermen here in the third quarter. First double-digit lead of the match, and it is now at 13. Who will respond for Barangay Ginebra? Abarientos being manned by Jericho, a physical, tough, and rugged defender, making life uncomfortable. Scotty on the attack, no openings yet. Abarientos fake, settles for the jumper, won't work. Japet with a rebound, and then a quick pass to Stephen Holt. Scotty inside, no advantage there. He pulls it back out. Abarientos kicks it out. 3-point shot open and missed. But the ball will head to SMB.
The nice part about that set is they were able to get an open shot.
Yeah.
And that's something that will at least give them confidence. It's now on the defensive end that they really have to light things up so that they can, get some easy baskets off transition.
Fajardo. Good pass. Again, they caught the defense on the weak side napping. Too easy. Buckets coming from Rodney Brondial.
Despite those 2 timeouts, Carlos, so far the defense of Barangay Ginebra is not there.
RJ Abarientos goes inside. The layup is good with a foul on Brondial.
RJ Abarientos trying to spark things up here for Barangay Ginebra. So a lot of positive things really happening, most especially when their triangle offense is being run coming off a pick and roll.
So Rodney Brondial, credit to him, he was trying to stay out of the way, but he was not quick enough to give RJ Abarientos either the free lane or step in to try and force the offensive foul. As a result, an N1 completed by Abarientos.
That's also the reason why a lot of the players are always being told by their coaches to go hard at the basket.
So things can happen with every paint touch. They're now trapping the ball screen. CJ matched up against Abarientos. The pass to Tiongson. Wami. The kick out is stolen. Stephen Holt chugging. Holt leaves it. Oh, a mistake.
Wow.
A wasted opportunity for Hinebra.
Yes, that was a nice defensive stop already there by Hinebra, and yet they still couldn't convert.
Holt was unselfish, but he could not complete that play alongside RJ. I think Holt was right there. He still had space to recover, but then Abarientos was already looking at the rim.
And he also, in the corner of his eye, he could see CJ Perez hustle back on defense.
What a waste for Barangay Ginebra after putting out all that effort to get a stop and a rare fast break opportunity. They come up empty. Again, trapping CJ Perez, slowing down the defense, or the offense rather. Meanwhile, Brondial hits his second triple of the game. It's in that kind of quarter for San Miguel Beer.
Things are falling there for San Miguel. Even Rodney is really contributing from the 3-point range.
Abarientos, snatch back 3, no, Brondial with the rebound.
Hinebra's got to make stops here. They cannot allow San Miguel to just keep on scoring in every set that they have.
But it's difficult to contend with the San Miguel Beermen when they have downhill momentum like this. Jericho in and out on that outside shot. Counter attack here for Barangay Ginebra. Ahanmisi hits the brakes. Locates Holt. Now Japet. Hand off to Stephen. Defense is right there. Japet is free. He will miss again. These shots were falling regularly for Barangay Ginebra in the first half.
Yeah, especially in the first half of play, Carlo. As you said, a lot of those baskets have been very easy for Barangay. Their offense was more fluid then.
Junmar leaves it for Brondial. Rodney kicks it out to Wami. Chongson pulls the trigger. Misses. But Junmar was present to keep the ball on their side. for this one more time. Wami to Brondial. They left him open. And he makes them pay. Rodney Brondial converting on his second three-point shot and extending their lead to 15, 76 to 61. Be there.
Yes, that's a nice thing about a guy coming off the bench, Jericho Cruz, a scoring machine, and that's something that you just have to be ready. You should always have that mentality that when you have that shot, you gotta be taking it with a lot of confidence.
And it's not just the scoring coming from Jericho. He is a tenacious defender, an able playmaker, and when he is on the floor, SMB is just unstoppable in this matchup. A plus 22 in the minutes that he has played.
And you look at him, the way he tries to get into the minds of his opponent. We've seen him talk to Malonzo, even RJ Abarientos. He tries to also intimidate, most especially in a series like this.
5 double-digit scorers already for the San Miguel Beermen. Perez, 13, Fajardo and Cruz with 12, 11 for Tiongson, 10 for Brondial. 7 of them coming here in the third quarter. So this is the theme of Game 2 for them. This is the balance. This is the wealth of talent that they had, that they employed in their second game victory here in this series.
The only difference, Carlo, is this scoring happened, this contribution happened in the third quarter, whereas in that game that you're talking about, it happened in the first quarter alone.
And now CJ missing the 3. Battle for the rebound won by Brondial. Rodney sends it out to Wami as they will reset their offense. Still the same 5 for Coach Leo for the entire third quarter. 3 is open. Won't work. That will be a push coming from Brondial.
Raymond Aguilar being given minutes here. Coach Tim Cone digging deep into his roster. That even his role players has to be given enough, at least a couple of more minutes just to try to turn things around.
Well, he did play well in the few minutes that he saw in Game 1 here inside the Mall of Asia Arena. Let's see if he can contribute once again to help Barangay Ginebra climb back from this 15-point hole. Aguilar leaves it for Maya. Raymond, handoff back to Jeremiah Gray. Maverick with 2 to score. Ahan Misi elevates, in and out. Rebound goes to Rosario. This is open for Gray. Could not knock it down. And all of a sudden, the offense hitting a brick wall for Barangay Ginebra.
They had open looks there, Carlo. They just, the ball is just not falling at this stage.
Only 10 points, Eric, in this quarter for Barangay Ginebra.
For me, the most important thing that the players would have to focus on is really on defense. You prevent San Miguel from scoring at least the score. They will not at least, pull away in this crucial third quarter.
These 2 minutes are crucial. You just want some momentum behind you if you're Barangay Ginebra heading into the fourth. That magic shot will not work out for CJ. One more try. This time it's good for 2.
He's just so scrappy. CJ Perez is the one who engineered this big uproar here for San Miguel in the third.
17-point lead for the San Miguel Beermen. Malonzo couldn't bank it home. Even as this initial defender dropped to the ground already, still could not buy a bucket. And now Ross launches and misses from deep. Barangay Ginebra looking for a spark. Who can provide it to them? Jericho with another stop. Cruz hits the brakes. Oh, wanted to go to CJ, but he is blocked from behind. Jericho was looking for style points there. Will not be successful, but still they have possession.
We had an open look already there. He could have even gone straight to the lane. He wanted to at least dish it off to his teammates.
And now Jeron Teng comes back in, replaces Rodney Brondial. Marcio Lassiter also back in the ball game. Barangay Ginebra, no answer here in the third quarter. Marcio missing. That might be a foul against CJ on the rebound. CJ is asking for a challenge, but Coach Leo says, oh,
Well,
for a loose ball, maybe not
maybe not
worth it
anymore.
at this time.
You're against Barangay Ginebra. You cannot take chances, most especially, you know, a lot of these Barangay Ginebra hopefuls are waiting for this big comeback, and this could be a start of something big, if ever.
They just need a chance. They just need momentum heading into the fourth quarter. Rosario continuing his stellar play. 14 points in the match. Ross to Jeron. They're still looking for CJ as he goes up against Ahan Misi. A switch now, the quick pass inside. Tautua with a couple of fakes, misses with the left hand. Many opportunities, not successful. They might be hoping for the final shot attempt of this third quarter. SMB coaching staff reminding their squad that they have fouls to give. They can be extra aggressive. And that's exactly what Chris Ross does. And he is gone.
You know, again, that basket is coming off great defense on one end. Oh,
another stop here. CJ won't get it to drop. But that basically encapsulates what happened here in the third quarter. Defensive tenacity and offensive brilliance coming from the San Miguel Beermen as they dominate Barangay Ginebra in this third period. They will be headed into the fourth and final quarter of action, up by 17.
You know what I love about Filipinas Live?
Back inside the Mall of Asia Arena for the fourth and final quarter. Game 4 in this best of 7 series in your PBA 49th season Philippine Cup. Carlo Pamintuan, Eric Reyes on the call. Miss Bea Escudero, our courtside reporter. That third quarter was close to perfection from SMB blasting Barangay Ginebra 28-12. In those 12 minutes, Scotty Thompson, always a threat for Barangay Ginebra, doing everything he can to lead his squad. 11 points, 4 assists, 4 of 6 from the field, but they will need a lot more coming from Scotty to turn things around. The MVP on the other side, the multiple-time MVP, Junmar Fajardo, with a monster double-double, 12 points and 16 boards. It's not needed to dominate on offense. Just the threat of him posting up has been enough to open things up for his squad, which happened in the third quarter. A 17-0 breakaway for the Beermen, allowing them to lead by 17 by that same exact number as you're ready to start our final quarter in Game 4. Eric, where do you start if you're Barangay Ginebra? How do you hope for a comeback bid?
You know, right now, we've always seen that when Barangay Ginebra plays better defense and at least put a lot of pressure on this San Miguel team, then that's where they can get some easy baskets off transition. That's when you force San Miguel into a couple of turnovers that can fuel your run here in the fourth.
4 bench players and 1 starter for Coach Tim Cone. And CJ Perez just completely locked up Maverick Ahanmisi. Another fast break drive. Levis gone. A high looper from CJ.
There's just way too many easy baskets for San Miguel.
19-point advantage now. As Barangay Ginebra left looking for answers. Jason David goes baseline. The pass tapped by Ross, recovered. Was close to another steal. You can see just how driven the Beermen are in getting stops, the intensity. They've elevated it on the defensive end.
They've been very scrappy also in the third quarter. That to me was very critical. That gave them a lot of energy going into the fourth.
Recovery on the possession, but no time remaining on the shot clock for Hinebra. As SMB gets another stop. Third quarter, 27.8% shooting from the field for Barangay Ginebra, 5 of 18, and then a massive 12 of 26 from SMB.
It's too big, Carlo, for one team, most especially in a semi-final game like this, to score 30 points in one quarter.
And really, the story, 17-9 advantage in terms of rebounds, including 8 offensive boards for SMB, and then 5 steals. That powered their offense, and it could really help SMB when they go on the run. They have a bunch of weapons who can punish you on the fast break. You have Chris Ross getting stops. You have CJ Perez finishing. And when the floor opens up, SMB is difficult to beat.
Yes, and there's just way too many players contributing here for San Miguel. Even guys like Rodney Brodial has been very productive offensively for this team. And usually he's more of a guy who is expected to provide the energy, the hustle, and yet he has also contributed offensively in this game.
And when you have Jeron Teng playing his best game, well, of the playoffs so far, the assistant coach Peter Martin. As Ralph Go enters this matchup for the first time with his team down by 20.
Can you imagine, Carlo, the top scorer in the third quarter for San Miguel was Brontial with 7
points.
And then Junmar and CJ had 6 apiece.
Another possession for the San Miguel Beermen. Ross steps out of bounds, unfortunately. And they're playing with energy. That has been the biggest difference here in the second half. And this is where you see that that 2-day break certainly worked well for the Beermen. It helped Junmar Fajardo recover, and it helped the rest of the team just get more focus into it. They knew that going down 3-1 in this series would be a very difficult situation to bounce back from. So they put together a nice run in that third quarter. We send it back to Bea.
Over on the Hinebra bench, Coach Tim Cone was quick to urge a defensive push, bringing in his best defensive guys off the bench to try and shift that momentum. He continued to stress that it's not about what they get on offense right now, but about being aggressive on defense to stop San Miguel from going on another run here in the fourth. So let's see if they can bring in more energy in the last quarter of the ballgame. Gentlemen.
Well, there is a buzz right now coming from the Barangay Ginebra faithful, as they will be hoping that their general, Eli Tenorio, can inject some life into their cause and start something here in the final quarter. They still have 10 minutes and change to work with.
A long time. That's a long time, Carlo. A lot of things can still happen for Barangay Ginebra.
Jeron against Aguilar. Lefty layup. What a confident shot from Jeron.
You know, a lot of us were really talking about Jeron, you know, sitting on the bench most of the time. But that scorer's mentality never left Jeron, even from college to here in the PBA.
3-point shot is good for Jamie Malonzo. They're still down by 18, but at least something positive coming from Barangay Ginebra.
They need to make stops here, and that's something that is going to be big for Hinebra.
Chris Ross versus Tenorio. Now Jeron has it. He throws it up. Misses on the triple. LA to Ralphco. Cross-court pass. Malonzo, another three. Not this time. Marcia with a rebound. Ross rushing down court. Forced it. Missed. The tap goes to Ralphco. I think that will be called out of bounds already, and it will stay with SMB. Ross, Teng, Lassiter, Trollano, Tautu with the 5 for Coach Leo. As Jeron locates Ross from the corner, three-point shot is down.
That's a big help there if you could get Chris Rosso again to start hitting his outside shots.
And San Miguel Beermen were sure that it will not be another three-point performance coming from them here in Game 4 as Raymond Aguilar answers right back.
I like the way Raymond's attitude has been. You know, he hardly plays in every Hinebra game, and yet when he's given that minutes, you know, at least the effort of trying to be at his best is always expected of him.
Coach Tim looking for something from the bench. Just a threat of them coming back into this game before calling back some of his starters. There's a switch on defense. Jeron, like this matchup earlier versus Raymond Aguilar. Another outside shot for Jeron. A couple of misses from him from the same space. Malonzo hesitated and then pulled the trigger. Knocks it down one more time.
Coach Leo doesn't like what he sees. He doesn't like his team to just be going one-on-one and taking shots from the outside. He wants to continue that aggressiveness on offense.
You know, any shot from inside the shaded area is a good shot for Jeron Teng. But when he starts settling for the outside shots, then SMB might have some problems with the Malonzo now heating up from distance. Barangay Ginebra doing their best to battle back. They still have 8 minutes and 11 seconds to start something. The Never Say Die squad starting to make an impact here in the final quarter, forcing this timeout from Coach Leo Austria.
Pilipinas Live is the home of Philippine volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP, all in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
Back inside the Mall of Asia Arena right after this timeout was requested by the San Miguel Beermen. 16-point advantage for SMB. But Barangay Ginebra showing signs of life, and now they will press. They will challenge the ball handling of the San Miguel Beermen moving forward. Ross is still with Teng. Trollano, Lassiter, but now Fajardo is on the floor for SMB. Wasting some clock here, Jeron locates Chris Ross. Throws up a shot, but the foul was before the attempt. It will be tagged against Tenorio. Rodney Brondial about to check into this matchup, replacing Jeron Teng. As they're hoping for more form in their defense as well. Injecting Brondial into this lineup should do exactly that. Trollano up against Ralphco. Shot clock is at 5 now for the white shirts. Trollano runs into trouble. Tenorio with a takeaway. LA will hit the brakes and a quick pass to Ralphco. Malonzo trying to heat up here in the quarter. A three-point shot for Aguilar. Too strong. Rebound for Jamie. Everyone wanting LA Tenorio to take the shot. Malonzo misses from deep.
Right now, what's in LA's mind is just to lead his team, to put some, to guide them, to put some leadership on the floor.
Yeah, if any of those three-point shots fell, it will be a 13-point game, and it will feel a little bit different. Here in Game 4, Brondial against the smaller Ralphco. Kick-out pass to Chris Ross for 3. No, rebound Malonzo. Ralphco has it. Tenorio versus Ross. They've battled so many times in the past. As LA, that pass is tapped out by Trollano. 8.7 remaining on the shot clock for Hinebra. Wami back in the ball game for Coach Leo Austria. CJ Perez will be reactivated as well.
Shot clock at 8.7 seconds.
Tenorio asking for it off the handoff. Much taller guy on him. Malonzo down low against Wami. Jumper in and out. Rebound claimed by Junmar. And he will travel. Referee saying that the bump was not enough for a foul. Coach Leo issuing a challenge.
Yeah, he was signaling a challenge there. Now, Coach Leo doesn't want to take any chances here. There's a lot of respect with the way Barangay Ginebra can literally just light up and bounce back, being down in many games in the past. And that's what you're trying to avoid, to make sure that that does not happen here.
So 88-72 is the count. A 16-point advantage for the San Miguel Beermen. The thing is about that call, they can't retroactively call a foul because there was no whistle for it. The only thing that the referees could look at was if it was a traveling
yes.
or not. Not a foul on Aguilar, not anything else, just if it was a traveling violation or not. And it was. You can say that it was because of the contact, but there were steps taken. So, unsuccessful challenge. Ball will stay with Barangay Ginebra. Again, that's the difference between how we do challenges in the PBA and in the NBA. In the NBA, I believe you can review the entire thing. What caused it? You can go right to the root, immaterial, of what the call was on the floor. LA finally takes a shot, but he will come up short from deep. So after all that, SMB still gets the stop. Don Trollano dumps it inside to Junmar. Fajardo against two defenders. Trollano with it. Jongson. CJ on the drive. The jackknife finish. Connects once again.
CJ still that option off that kick out. You know, despite him being at the last option on the opposite corner, they will still continue to look for that.
That ball heads out of bounds. Lost by Ralphco. Actually bounced off the official. But he was stepping out of bounds, so I guess that he's part of the outside.
Yes, I mean, Carlo, we've seen a lot of possessions by Barangay Ginebra that, you know, a very simple catch.
Yeah.
They would still lose a handle on that ball, thus leading to a turnover.
Wami Chongson knocks down another three, and then all of that momentum built by Barangay Ginebra countered by another spurt from SMB. 21-point lead now. Tenorio going baseline, kicks it out. Nards Pinto gets it back off the handoff. Nards steals one against Junmar.
He will continue to be aggressive, whatever minutes that you would give Nards Pinto.
CJ on the attack. Trollano from the corner. Wami now with it. They're looking for the mismatch. CJ has it. Fajardo wants to post up. Draws a double. The swing. Trollano for 4. Won't connect. Now another opportunity to score for Barangay Ginebra, but they are slowly running out of time here. We're not sensing any move from Coach Tim to send back Japet or Troy or Scotty, even Stephen Holt. Again, if they made one of those 3-point shots to cut it down to 13, then maybe we will see them play once again.
Yes.
But right now, I think he's just waiting for his bench to do something drastic before giving some minutes to his starters once again.
You know, he needs to see also some positive things happening on the floor.
CJ quickly on the other side, no need to rush, as they have a fat 19-point advantage in this ball game with less than 4 minutes remaining. Junmar, the quick pass inside. Trollano denied by Malonzo.
That's the way you play defense from the weak side.
Tenorio pulls the trigger, comes up short from downtown. Just so many players shipping in here. Because for the San Miguel Beermen, the balance of scoring, no one dominating, everyone looking for the best possible shot, looking for the open teammates. And when the offense flows like this, SMB is close to being unstoppable.
And to add to that, Carlo, I like the way San Miguel, look at the numbers of Junmar Fajardo, double-double performance with 3 assists and even 2 steals. It's really the defense, especially in that third quarter, and how scrappy San Miguel was on trying to get into the passing lanes.
Well, Don Trollano knocking down a triple. So from the top scorer of Game 3 now, he's at 7 points. Again, no need for him to do any kind of damage, as his teammates had it under complete control. And again, going back to that one change coming from Coach Leo Austria. Jericho Cruz starting in the third quarter, that was the big difference maker in this game.
Yes, and that's also one way on how they were able to get a lot of energy. Jericho really came into this game really providing that firepower, that defense, and even in that intimidation in the entire game.
No, we could have another name as the best player of this match. It could be someone else outside of Jericho Cruz, but what is undeniable is that his plus 24 will be a game best here in Game 4.
Yes, that's something that you really would like to see from guys coming off the bench. Most especially when you're coming off a loss. You want that bounce back, you want that energy, and you want that fight back to, at least to tie the series.
You can see the starters struggling in the second half. Of course, the minutes severely affected by the advantage that was already formed in the third quarter. San Miguel Beermen, Scotty Thompson, not able to score here in the second half. Aguilar and Troy Rosario struggling as well. GM Calma adds his name to the list of scorers for Coach Leo in this game. And we often talk about the offensive poise of the San Miguel Beermen. But again, going back to your point, it was their lockdown defense that keyed the breakaway in the third quarter.
Because of what happened there, they were picking up a lot of steals. They were really scrambling. They were all over the place. And they were just getting a lot of layups of transition.
And forcing Barangay Ginebra to shoot lower than 30%, limiting them to just 12 points in the entire third quarter. And they will not be threatened here in the fourth. Meanwhile, L.A. Tenorio getting some positives in. You never know, he might get a few more minutes heading into games 5, 6, maybe 7 in this series.
Well, I agree with you with what you said about trying to get some positives out of the game. I mean, even if, like, let's say you get a blowout like this, you want to see some positives because you don't want to bring those bad habits in going into the next game.
So 12 players have already scored for the San Miguel Beermen. 5 of them double digits, led by the 19 of CJ Perez. Of course, we're hoping that the injury is nothing too serious for Jay Cahilig as he exited this matchup in the first half with Jeremiah Gray landing awkwardly on his knee, sending Cahilig out for the game. LA from the corner. Still empty from the three-point range. But once again, the entire story of this series, the adjustments, the counter adjustments. Barangay Ginebra won first as Don Trollano hits a 4-point shot. SMB had counters to dominate game 2. Barangay Ginebra won game 3. SMB once again made their adjustments to make sure that the series is level. Final 46 seconds in this matchup before the San Miguel Beermen will claim their second win of this series. They will have 6 double-digit scorers once again, like their Game 2 victory, as Calma will come up empty.
And so far, that's the trend of what's been happening in the series. You get San Miguel with a balance of scoring with the entire team. You get Hinebra also having players have big games like RJ Abarientos and the rest of the team.
San Miguel Beer obviously will not take a shot anymore. It will just dribble out the clock as we're tied. 2 wins apiece. This best of 7 is down to a virtual best of 3 to determine who will move forward to the finals of the PBA 49 season Philippine Cup.
There's been a game of adjustments, Carlo, and definitely we will see more adjustments coming into the next game of this series.
But the most important factor for the San Miguel Beermen, Junmar Fajardo, that looked a lot healthier. Maybe the best that he's looked here in this entire series. Yes, he's still dealing with the calf situation, but it did not appear that way here in Game 4.
And the most important thing is Junmar is getting healthier, and at the same time, his teammates continue to still bail him out. So at least, you know, the recovery is gradual rather than having to force him have a big game to win games.
Junmar Fajardo, 12 points, 19 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, as he will be the best player of this game. Everything runs through Junmar Fajardo for SMB, and now he delivers a big-time double-double once again. Fajardo, our best player, as he spearheads the attack for SMB to level the count with this dominant 107-82 victory against Barangay Ginebra San Miguel in Game 4 of their best of 7 series. Up next, we have Game 4 between the TNT Tropang 5G and the Rain or Shine Elasto Painters. Stick with us here on PBA Rush.
nasa gilas ng lingas, perlas ang silangan, lalong umangas, lalong tumalas ang pinuhunang katas ng pangarap. Lagpas sa labaab, abante, diskarte, di bale, walang pake sa maaarte, tuloy lang at kampante, ginto lang ang diskarte, bumubulusok, umuusok, tumutusok, at tagos sa bawat sulok. Mabangis kumiginang, ang lahat nahihibang, nagliliyab, nagniningning, parang pinagtagpong hilig. Bawat upunan, merong hamunan, laban kong laban sa bayanan, isang bansa, isang bansak. Hey! PBA! Alam mo to, laro mo to, tuloy sa kampeonato.
SMB evens the series out at 2-all. Congratulations to our player of the game, Junmar Fajardo and Coach Leo Austria. Coach Leo, ano ang naging focus nyo defensively, lalo na dun sa pivotal third quarter nyo where you allowed Hinebra to just score 12 points?
It's very obvious na the energy of the team is really high. We're able to match up their energy. And a lot of perimeter shooting namin went in, unlike before. Imagine today is 50% from the 3-point area. Last time is 3 out of 28. I think that's 10%. And I think the defense is one thing na binigyan namin ng pansin dahil makikita nyo naman they issued only 18 assists, quite high pa rin for a regular team, but they're averaging 25 assists. That means our defense is working, and I can see it from the players from the start, from the dugout. Nakita ko yung kanilang body language, and talagang this team will really play tonight, and it's very evident kanina, different energy and concentration yung nangyari kanina.
Thank you so much, Coach Leo. Junmar, pag-usapan naman natin ikaw, ano bang mga naging adjustment mo sa kung paano ka maglaro usually para matiyak na kahit na may iniinda ka, magiging problema ka pa rin para sa Hinebra?
Una-una sa lahat, napapasalamat kami agad na walang na-injury sa game na to. And then yun, thankful ako sa kila coach, sa mga coaches namin, sa mga teammates ko. Lahat ng pinasok ni coach nag-step up. Tapos maganda yung preparation namin past 2 days. And then, ayun, kailangan namin, yun nga, ipanalo yung game na to kasi hirap pag down 3-1. So, ayun, laging nire-remind ni coach na, yun nga, kailangan namin itaas yung intensity, and then kailangan namin i-execute yung mga plays namin. And then, yun yung ginawa namin tonight. So, ayun, nakuha namin yung panalo. So.
Is the name of this series between the San Miguel Beermen and Barangay Ginebra San Miguel. In the first quarter, we saw a fitter, Junmar Fajardo, look ready to become a factor in this matchup, and he would have his best game of this series so far. CJ Perez, as always, a threat from anywhere on the floor.
Well, they both started on a good note here in this quarter, but Barangay Ginebra has been steady and equally active in the first half alone.
Troy Rosario was there to provide points. He was deadly in the first 12 minutes of action to allow Barangay Ginebra to build a 2-point advantage heading into the second quarter. But the second unit provided and had a spark for SMB. Sign of things to come from Jericho Cruz.
But the most important thing is everyone was ready. Notably, Jericho has also been very productive in the series.
On the other side, RJ Barrientos came in and tried his best to make an impact for Barangay Ginebra, scoring with a tough layup right in the gut of the defense. And with the Japet missing, one last bucket from Troy Rosario gets him the lead before the start of our second half of action. A 1-point lead for Barangay Ginebra heading into the third, but after that, it was all SMB.
It's really all about their defense, their energy that they brought in. Wami Chongson, one of those guys who provided that firepower in the third quarter.
Rodney Brondial finding an opening, and this will be his second 3-point conversion of the matchup. He had 7 points to help the breakaway for SMB in that period. They had 5 steals, one of which came from Chris Ross.
Well, you know, this was towards the end of that third quarter, and look at the way they really played defense in that quarter alone.
Limiting Barangay Ginebra to only 12 points in that period, and the rest of the way was smooth sailing for the squad of Coach Leo Austria. Everyone got their opportunities to shine, of course, including CJ Perez scoring on that layup.
Well, the nice thing about it is everyone is a threat, and there's really nobody among the 5 that you can just allow to take an open shot.
Rosales hit a corner 3 to become the 12th member of San Miguel Beer to score in this matchup. L.A. Tenorio, a couple of buckets in the end game as he was injected here into the fourth quarter, but the show belonged to SMB as Don Trollano becomes the sixth player in double digits for the Beermen in this game, sinking that 4-point shot. And as a result, this best of 7 is down to a best of 3 with this impressive 107-82 victory for the San Miguel Beermen, series tied at 2 wins apiece. And that will be the hope for the Rainier China Elasto Painters as they'll be gunning for their back-to-back win going up against the TNT Tropang 5G with our next game coming right up. Don't go anywhere. More of your post-game analysis of our X's and O's Arena Plus Live panel when we return for Miss Bea Escudero and Eric Reyes and Carlo Pamintuan. Stick around, more PBA action coming your way.
Hanggang mapipigali ka ng ating bandila. Di pagiging papag mag-iba man ng